All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I just want to talk to you about Cancer and Mercury. While the retrograde is going on, Venus is still rising, and that means that there's a lot of love that is evolving in and through us. Evolve means that there's a new level, evolution, because Cancer is a sign that nurtures and protects. That means that Venus is rising in a way that could be a little bit different, especially with this time um, directed towards the collective and the changes that the world is undergoing. When I say the collective, I mean that the world, everyone is undergoing. It doesn't matter if you're a part of what's happening out in the world or if you're in your home. The shift is bringing a understanding, even in Mercury retrograde, that love has to be visited. And that means that love is going to show up differently. It's going to show up unconditionally for many, and it's going to deal with the issues that have been going on in the houses. You see, there is no collective understanding or unity or um, change without us going into our houses to deal with the issues in our houses. So, as the collective is taking part in the change, the heart of the collective individually, and that means those individually will be affected to go home and begin to deal with the behaviors in the home. The collective has shown a passion towards different issues of discrimination, abuse, um, power abuse. Um, It's also showing a collective understanding of the judicial system that did not start with the police brutality. It started within um, the militant aspects of the police department, which goes all the way through sergeants into, um, I want to say mayors. I hear mayors coming up, the mayors, but also staying on track with how the judicial system is created. And that means that it's going in and through the lawyers, making the corrections, exposing their inhumane acts towards those they have represented and those that were not represented throughout time and space. Also into the judicial system where the judge's seat has been a place where justice has supposed to been weighed in the balance. So I won't get into that, but I do have some sisters that will be coming on, and we're going to talk about that in a few days. However, I do want to focus on Cancer because in these issues where we are retrograde, they're causing us to look at the nurturing aspects that possibly were neglected, the mothers and fathers that were absent, um, the abuse in families. And so the collective that are protesting and rioting, as well as all of ourselves, will come back into our house, and there's going to be an epiphany. We're going to realize that we hadn't dealt with the skeletons in our own closets. And those skeletons that are still alive are those that have been abuse of power, even in our families, control. Some would say witchcraft because witchcraft is a spirit of control. It means that I manipulate to get things the way that I want to. Um, the abuse, the sexual abuse in the families, the domestic abuse, and so on, where parents have traumatized children. And I don't want to say that it's a judgment. I want to say that parents had not realized what they were doing because it's been generations of this behavior that had been passed down. And so here it stops, because if we stop it in the street, then what we do is stop it in our homes and communities. So Cancer is a sign of nurturing. It is a mothering sign. It has a lot of emotions. Therefore, in Mercury, Mercury is slowed down because it is retrograde. That means that the Cancerian energy wants us to focus on nurturing and loving, regardless of what the backwards aspects of Mercury bring. You see, the backward aspects is bringing Mercury into a slow down position. And this is good because Mercury can be impulsive. It can be a jack of all trades that jacks up all kinds of stuff. It says whatever it wants to, it does whatever it wants to. So let's just think about Mercury in this time being disciplined, actually. And that is the sign of Gemini as well. You know, Mercury is the planet. So the sign of Gemini being disciplined means that it's being brought into a place where it has a need to recognize throughout all of us, because we all carry the energy that there's an impulsive behavior there. There's a dark side, it gets very angry. But there's also the light side where it actually loves and it communicates properly. It becomes a journalist. It becomes someone that can help others through communication meet deadlines and meet their needs. It actually can work as a guide. It can transform situations because it is darkness and it is light. It's like in Isaiah 45, where God says to Isaiah, I am the darkness and I am the light. How much better could you get when you bring balance? So in this here season of retrograde, many have been afraid, but the fear is what keeps us from becoming who we are, becoming what we should be. If I didn't cross over to get the light, then I would always be dark. That means I'm always going to be sabotaging myself. And so, in order to break the cycles of self-sabotage, even projected sabotage, because people are angry with people in their families and, you know, out in communities because of jealousy, because they feel like they can't be or do, they can't, you know, own up to being who they want. And it's simply, you can't be it because you don't believe in yourself. Sometimes you're just too lazy. You're not thinking about the other side of who you are. You don't want to put energy into that because some people enjoy being dark or the dark aspects of themselves. When you get to a place when you understand yourself, then you can do better if you desire, because it is will. And some people are going to be put in a position where they have no choice. They might get sick until they make a decision that they're going to honor what they should do for others rather than hurting people, rather than being that pain and hurt that was ushered in through others. They transform the pain. So back to the nurturing. We understand the nurturing process. Those of us that have went through the dark nights of the soul, we understand that. And in order to get to the nurturing process, then we evaluate ourselves. And at this time of reflection in Mercury, it is slowed down. Then we make a decision not to even allow the impulsive behaviors or dark manipulation behaviors to continue when Mercury is out of retrograde. The contemplation that we have at this time should be the same contemplation when Mercury goes direct. And this is a lesson, because whatever seeds that I plant is the seeds that I'm going to get back. Now, this is life. This is how we create and manifest our lives. The other thing is that if I nurture something in a time where I feel love coming up and I take the conditions off of it, then that love will be able to bloom something beautiful because it's not limited, it's not controlled, and it's not bound by anything. So when we look at ourselves today, we can look at some of the aspects of why we're not manifesting. And this is where I'm going with it, because I was looking at some things in the spirit, and I've seen a lot of prosperity coming in. The prosperity that we've sown into can't always come to us because of our own traditional thinking, the blockages, what we think and how we think situations should be. If I only feel that I can trust myself to control a situation when I live in a life with others, then I can miss the mark on how manifestations are going to come. Because when we're connected in this world, that means that it's a circle effect where manifestations come. And so, in this time where the nurturing aspect or the mothering aspect is there, we have to understand that it's not just only us that can understand how to nurture others, that there are others that can nurture, and we sometimes need to be nurtured, but we need to balance ourselves in all situations. We don't need to continue to be controlling. We need to learn how to trust. And sometimes the manifestations of our life have been short lived because we didn't trust some things that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, brought to us. What does that mean? You could have been working in a place or in a relationship or in friendships, and you didn't trust them. You didn't trust the energy enough. And so you took control, and then it was all about you, and you missed the foundational collective nurturing aspect of what you needed. Some people feel like they're alone because they put themselves in that position. And so the manifestations cannot come because this here season of our life is not about individual prosperity. It's about groups. It's about coming together and working together. Families, friendships, businesses. It is not an individual society anymore the way that the world has showed us. So in this time of Cancer, in Mercury retrograde, and the eclipse has went and did its thing and is doing its thing, it's cutting off the mindset of control, because the world has been controlled by many, many politicians that are connected to their own circumference. That means that money is only going to flow to them. It's not going to really flow to the masses because the masses has been under their control. Now, this is a time where Mercury is telling us, and Cancer, nurture your foundation. Nurture what? What is my foundation? I have a family. You have a family. Even if your family is not, congruent, this is a time for you to reflect on what part you played in it. Because there is no situation in life that says, I am right and you are wrong. You are right and I am wrong. The thing is that people don't come together in their families and look at the issues. People run away from the issues. This is not the season. Because if we run away, then we don't get the true understanding. And that means that some of our manifestation power, where we needed to work together, is being cut. It's being cut off. And some of the dynamics have to do with Pluto, because some of us came here in a time where we had the power to work together to heal our own families from generations ago and the collective. So, something to think about when you're working your manifestation power. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Because nurturing means that we all have the capability. Now, in its space and place, it would be different. So, if you need a natal chart, then email me at ifwbuilders@gmail.com. So, my nurturing ability is to be a mother and to nurture my family. Um, the other thing is that I nurture in communication. What does that mean? It means that I am communicating with others concerning their needs, and I am helping and working with others to be a resource in that area. Now it goes beyond that, but communication is what I am. And the communication also targets healing for people across all different dynamics. Why? Because I have Chiron in my chart. And those things that I've seen my own hurt and pain in, I've turned into a therapeutic measure or a coaching and personal measure to assist others. So at this time, do not be afraid of what Cancer and Mercury retrograde can bring you, because it's bringing prosperity. It really is. But it's how you're looking at your connection with others. And some of the energy that you're connected to, it has to be put in a place away from you until it makes a decision that it will agree with what you are called to do. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm saying we throw people away, no, or the energy. We have to do what we're having to do if we feel that we're mission led, if we feel that we have a nurturing ability. We have to come together with that so that it can work for this time, because that's what Aquarius is all about, groups, and it's all about healing. The groups are healing. Healing what? Healing across the dynamics of economics for people, medical, healing spiritual. These groups are coming together and they're empowering in all different areas. It is not the same. A lot of spirit is coming in, and that's something that a lot of people were running away from. Their spiritual and mystical powers, the strength from the astral world or the heavenlies, however you want to say it. You can't run from it. You can run, but you're going to run right into it. The other thing is, if you're running from it and it's something that you were called to do, then the wall to the wall, you're going to fall. All right. So I hope that you guys understood, this message. Your prosperity is in your nurturing, and it's in the reflection of change. Mercury, that Gemini energy, is not to operate in the impulsive manipulation, deceptive behavior only. It is to come together as yin and yang and bring light to a world and to people and your families that need healing. So do that work. And someone said to me, let your magic flow, because we need it. And a lot of us are thriving for it. All right. So email me at ifwbuilders@gmail.com if you need some personal development sessions, and even healing sessions. And, I have a host of people that I work with that would not mind. This is what we are here to do, and this is what we're going to do. All right. Have a blessed day.